Alright, all painted up. I've hand painted in. You can see the other colours where required. It's had a clear gloss coat. Hasn't had a wash yet. Before I do the wash, I'll install the 3D decals from images I could find, and their call out. The insider's seat is also a brown. I'm not sure if it was some sort of wood, leather or Bakelite or something, but it's not really matching my, somewhere in the ballpark I guess. But what I did is I airbrushed a brown in there, and then it's very subtle but I can see it. I come in with AK 3rd Gen paint with a paintbrush, a bit of water in there, and just dabbed it down, and it sort of broke it up a bit. But after the clear gloss coat, sort of dulled it back down. So, but it is there. But time the seat belt goes on there, you won't see much anyway. Alright, I'm going to just show. I'll do the instrument panel decal, 3D decal, just to show how they work. No, it's nothing special in it, it's just a decal. But this is the Quinta brand. There's a few other brands as well, on Red Fox Studio and Kellic, which Kellic I think I can't remember who they're with now. One of the Ukrainian manufacturers that do all the resin bombs and stuff. I can't think of their name at the moment, but anyway, this one's Quinta Studio. Basically, with Quinta Studio ones, you dip them in water like you would a normal decal, warm water. I have done it now a few times, so I'm more comfortable with it. But before I was sort of like, I don't really want to dip this in water in case water gets in behind, and because it's like layered and it swells up or something. But so far I've been okay, I haven't had issues like that. Use a, for this one it's flat, no problems. Use a white glue. So this is the Quinta brand. I bought it to try, and I have zero doubt that it's just a PVA glue, but anyway. So for flat surfaces, a PVA is alright, just as long as it dries clear. Because you don't want to see the, if it doesn't dry clear and it comes out the side, you'll see a different colour. But when you do harnesses, which will bend over the side of the chair, you need to use CA glue. Whatever brand you use, doesn't matter. So what I'm using at the moment, it's got a stupid name, but it's the best CA glue I've ever used. And I've used, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 different brands. This one is the best performing I've had. So you need to CA glue it, because you're not going to get PVA glue to hold a 3-dimensional part like that, because they don't. It's not photo etch. It's not just going to bend and stay there. It's going to want to pop back up, basically. All right, dip that in some water. I will also, before I put it together, I'll dry brush so that these instruments and that, I'll dry brush with a metal color just to suggest a bit of worn wearing on the, from handling. All right, so that move, yep. All right, here we go. A bit of towel. All right. I'll just use my fingers for this, big enough. You can see there, that glue's pushed through there. I wasn't expecting that. I pushed down with that paper towel because I wanted to get rid of the excess water. I wasn't expecting glue to come up through that. Do one more. So where it says 9, that's the decal number 9. So that's the center decal. I'm gonna put my there it is. Alright. Alright, this time the water off again. Oop. Ugh. Alright, I didn't, I'm used to wearing a visor when I model, even though I can see that, I just like the magnification. Anyway, that's in. As mentioned, the quality of that is just, you can't beat that with normal decals, and I don't like photo etch like the Edo ones where you put down the coloured one and you put the black one on top, and I hate doing all that, so I prefer these. But like I said, the cost of them, they're not cheap, but when you start looking at this sort of scale, I think it's worth the investment. So yeah, so that's how they work. Like I said, for harnesses that are curved and that, you need to go with CA glue because it's not going to hold down with PVA. Alright, I'm going to finish doing where I need to in this part of the cockpit. Alright, so I've got some of it together. I'll give it a wash before I put the rest of it in, and then glue it all together. So you can see I've put in the 3D decals on that side wall. I've put in my lens inside there with a bit of crystal clear glue. This side I've glued in the oxygen tanks. It's a bit of dry brushing, just slightly, a bit of metal showing through. I've looked up, I've just painted them aluminium. Apparently a lot of them were just aluminium. I know if you look it up, there's some of them, the first thing I looked up, they said they were blue, and sometimes I think they're green, but from what I could gather with the Australian ones, a lot of time they were just aluminium. So I've just kept it simple, and you're probably not going to see that anyway when the cockpit goes together and everything goes in. Alright, got the cushion on the back. It looks stunning, that I love it. And the harnesses, the lap belts, I can't put the other ones in until I put it all together because they go through and back through the bulkheads. So as mentioned, you need CA glue for that. I've cleaned up taken the fuselage's halves off the sprue and cleaned up the contact injection points. I've put in the parts required here and here. There's two on that side. So I need to paint that obviously, but this is what that'll come in there like that. There are a few ejection pin marks, but I don't think time it goes together. What was it when you do something on camera? It doesn't bloody work. Did it before, first time. The time it's all in there, I don't think you're going to see. Once, because they got the other bulkheads going in there, and I think the seat will probably be on that one. Will it? Somewhere. Anyway, I don't think you'll see them, but they're easy enough to fill and clean up if you wanted to. I'll do a bit more of a dry fit on that and check and see whether I should or not, and then I'll paint that up. Okay, so in the instructions here they're calling for you have a jig in the kit on the sprue. So these parts here, it's like a jig, you would cut that off. So this side is P6, so it would be that one. So the purple bit is the jig, and you'd sit it on there to drill out the hole for the light. But the RAF, the Australian Air Force one, didn't have the light, they blanked it out, so I'm not putting it in. But if you're doing one of the other ones, you'd probably have to put the light in, so they make it easy for you where you know where you have to cut it. Also, you have the option here, if you want the canopy closed, you need to file away or sand away the green section. That top of the sill needs to go if you want your canopy closed. I'm having it open. I've spent all that money on that, and it'd be hard to see. Once it's all buttoned up, you can see that there's not a lot of area to see in. So best, well, for me, I'd prefer it open so you can get a little bit better view of it. Alright, so I'll start doing that. Alright, so paint it up. It's probably not necessary to paint all of that. I think it's a good practice because you don't want to get caught out later on. You close it all up and somewhere you can see through and think, I can see in there, I should have painted it. So it's just a bit of paint, it doesn't use up that much. 3D decals in that side, there's one on that side. I've painted so that's like the bulkhead for the engine to attach to, which will go like that, that'll be I don't know if that's the fuel cap, I think. Again, you won't see it, but hey ho. Yeah, so that's good to go. I gotta pull it up now. I can't It's only like 9 o'clock in the morning and it's already over 30 degrees Celsius here and it's freaking hot. And this room I'm in is not air conditioned. So once I get all that washed and put together, then I can install it. And I've still got a couple more parts to go in. So I've got this hose that'll have to come in. It comes in after you've put the cockpit in. I've got to do I think that's maybe the battery, which will have 3D decals on it as well. And there's another piece once the tub's in, it goes in. I'm just following their instructions with all that stuff so I don't get caught out. And then also they've highlighted for you here, you've got 3 options with your door. So there's 3 there's actually 3 different doors in the kit, going by that. So you've got a door, if you want the canopy closed, you use that door. If you want the canopy open and the door closed, you'll use this setup, and this will be the one I do. The canopy open, door open, so you got the internals there. I'm not sure about I think that's like the Spitfire, this is what I've heard, and it was hard to open the door, and they put it like a bar, I don't know if it was like a crowbar or something to open it. And I've heard heaps of people argue over stupid things like, oh, it was red, no, it was black, but apparently, well, I've heard it didn't even go in till later on after the war, but that may be wrong also. But I'll do what they're saying here, I'll put it in. But yeah, I'm not, historically, I've heard so many different things about it, and I can't believe people argue over crap like that. But anyway, so yeah, that'll be my one I'm going for. And I have to glue, where was that, back a page. You got the tail sections that go in there, so I'm guessing the other variant they released earlier on must be different shape back there. Otherwise, why would they have separate panels? So I can put them on as well and have a look at what's going on down there with the tail wheel and that, and whether I need to paint interior green in there. But anyway, that's it for now.